Well, here we are. Let's take the Pontiac for a spin. A little luxurious setting for a Pontiac. But I would drive a car like this, even if I lived in a house like this. Perfect car. We'll take a brief walk around before we start the drive. This is a 66 Catalina Coupe, not a Ventura, which was a higher level trim. And the Catalina was the base out of the Catalina, the Star Chief Executive. Pontiac was transitioning names from the Star Chief to the Executive, so they used both names, the Star Chief Executive and the Bonneville. So this was on a 121-inch wheelbase. The Bonneville was several inches longer, so you got more car as you went up in the price range, not only across GM divisions, but within the divisions as well. This has great Coke bottle styling done by Jack Humbert's studio. Jack ran Pontiac from the early 60s until the late 60s when he was kicked upstairs at GM Design and became a more senior executive overseeing numerous studios. Now, Pontiac offered a lot of different engines in each of their vehicles. This Catalina is equipped with the 290 horsepower premium fuel 389 with a 2-barrel carburetor. They actually had a premium fuel that came standard with the turbo hydromatic transmission. If you get the manual transmission, you get a 256 horsepower regular fuel version of the 389 2-barrel. Or that 256 horsepower engine was also a no-cost economy option as well. On the optional engine scale, you could get a 338 horsepower 421 cubic inch 4-barrel, a 356 horsepower 3.2-barrel 421, and the top dog was a 376 horsepower 421 under hood. Just a few more exterior shots. Beautiful day today in the sun, showing off the Marina turquoise paint. This was called Marina turquoise for Pontiac. It was Tropic turquoise for Olds. So same color code, but just a great period color on this car. And this car also does have the full foam cushion option, only in the front and the fender skirts, which I love the fender skirts on this car. It just makes it look so much more classy. Let's take a quick look under the hood and then we will take it for a drive. And here you go. Here is the standard with the automatic transmission 389 2-barrel engine, code YF, running smoothly. It has a non-declutching fan. It's a no AC car. I just put the windows down on a nice day, but you see the dealer aftermarket cruise control. That was a Pontiac dealer option. I've seen those kits on eBay. Anyway, let's take it for a drive. Well, here we are riding around in the Catalina on a beautiful day. Just a spectacular day for hardtop cruising. No pillar. This car is so smooth, such an effortless car to drive. I've owned, I don't even know how many cars I've owned. Well in excess of 60, I would say, of these classic cars. And of all the vehicles that I've owned and driven, GM, Ford, Mopar, AMC, I've had them all. The 65 to 7 Pontiacs to me are the best driving cars for what they were. And just, they're the perfect car. Perfect styling, perfect driving experience. Even this car with a 389 2-barrel, if you, just a standard engine, it's a premium fuel 389 2-barrel, by the way, high compression. It doesn't leave you wanting for anything. Gets great gas mileage, relatively speaking, too. These Catalinas had a standard 256 rear end ratio, which is super sleepy, super tall. But this car gets 18, 19 miles per gallon at 70 miles an hour on the freeway. The transmission, turbo hydromatic 400's hard to beat. It's not a switch pitch turbo hydromatic 400 though, interestingly. Pontiac didn't go with that. The Buick and the Olds during this time period, the Cadillac had that. But, I mean, that's a minor niggle. The other turbo-hydromatic 400s outside of 65 through 7 were not switch pitch either for any division. So it shifts perfectly smoothly. The engine is so responsive and yet so smooth, so quiet. Good brakes. I do still have the factory drums on it. I've never had an issue with these drums. I mean, if you're going to panic stop multiple times from freeway speeds, then yeah, they're not going to be great for you. But if you're doing that in this car, you're just not driving it the way that you should. Why would you be doing that kind of braking? So I do love the instrument panel, and especially that Catalina detail and the little map light here. I mean, this is an entry-level full-size car. The door panel, you certainly don't get that in entry-level cars today. Nor the Lucite wheels, which is a safety wheel because the center ring here is recessed. Although this is not a collapsible steering column. That would be a few, I think 67 or 8. Certainly by 68 they had that. Ford had the flower pot steering wheel in 67 as a safety measure as well across their whole lineup just that one year. But everywhere you look in this car is just super detailed and super rich, and there's no cue to tell you that this is an entry-level automobile. I mean, chromed pillar trim and above the windshield, beautiful perforated vinyl headliner. The steering wheel is rich. All the controls are styled. These are unique Pontiac controls. They click into place with a very firm feeling. This is the temperature control, by the way, not a second radio. There's just nothing about this car that screams anything other than it's a high-quality automobile. And I think of all, like I said, of all the cars that I've owned and all the cars that I've driven, this really is the zenith for GM. The 65, I would say 6, 7, maybe 8 in some cases cars. But of those, I've owned the Buicks, the Olses, the Pontiacs, the Chevrolets, the Cadillacs. I'm telling you, the Pontiac drives the best. If it were my money, no matter how wealthy I were back in the mid-60s, I would have bought a top-of-the-line Bonneville with the high-output 428 engine and called it a day. I mean, there's nothing else, not the Cadillacs or anything else, in my opinion at least, drove as well. That's not to say that the other cars don't drive well. They do. The ride stability on this Pontiac is beyond anything that I've encountered in another vehicle, especially over these Midwest potholed roads. It's an amazingly level ride. You don't buck up and down at all. The Pontiac seems to have better isolation from bumps and road noise. This car only exhibits about 68 decibels at 70 miles an hour with the windows up over concrete pavement. So it is extremely quiet. And the engine, I know, even this is a 389 two-barrel. I've driven the premium fuel, Olds 425s of the era and the Buick 430s. And in spite of this having a lazy 256 rear end, this 389 is just an impressive engine. It leaves you, and even with a two-barrel, somehow this two-barrel does not seem like it is a two-barrel. If you drive a Ford from the era, I love the Autolite 2100 carburetors, they're very reliable, but those engines, when they're outfitted with them, they get wheezy at the upper end rev range. Somehow this two-barrel 389 is not wheezy. I mean, it does tail off a little bit, unlike the four barrels, but really not much. It's just an impressive package. The steering is great. There is some road feel, a lot more than what's in a Ford steering box. Chrysler's had some steering feel as well, but it's a great ratio. It's effortless, and really there's nothing to complain about in this car. I would have been so satisfied that I would have bought another Pontiac if I were the owner of this Pontiac. And unfortunately, by the time the 71s came around, I probably would have switched brands, because I would say the Pontiacs, the 71 to 6 Pontiacs, also drive the nicest of that generation of GM cars. The Buicks are nice too. I think the Cadillacs personally are the worst driving of the lot. But I would have been disappointed trading in a 66 Catalina for a 71. All the interior materials were worse. The styling wasn't as nice. The car got porkier and portlier. Here it's just a perfect ride. And I don't feel like I bought a base car. This feels like it's a very premium automobile. So I hope you enjoyed that brief little trip down memory lane in the 66 Catalina. Stay tuned for more videos, and thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. Thanks for watching this ride and drive of my 1966 Catalina. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe, as that helps the YouTube algorithm serve this up to more viewers like you. Until next time, be sure to check out the video thumbnails at the bottom left and right for some suggestions for you. And feel free to subscribe by clicking the circular icon of the 67 Buick Riviera at the top left. And if you like this video significantly, feel free to hit the super thanks button, the heart-shaped icon with the $ sign in it, at the bottom right of your video viewer. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care.